Hello and welcome back, fantasy cartographers. In this episode, we are going to talk about adding borders, compass, and the map key. Starting with borders. I see borders in two ways. Is the border on the edge of the papers, or is there any gap between the edge and the border? So in terms of placement style, I see that we can categorize them like this. And let me show you an example. So do we have any extra space between the edge and the border? Or is the border completely aligned with the edge? So in terms of placement, I see that these are the two options we have. And in terms of style, I also categorize it in two ways, minimal or detailed. So these are minimal borders. Even though they look like there are so many drawings, dots and stuff like that, I still see them as minimal things. Why? Because they are not like very detailed illustrations. You don't see dragons coming out from the border and firing to the map. So like these kind of illustrated borders, when you think about them, to me, these are the minimal styles. It doesn't have to be only just also patterns. It can be some very minimal items like chains, ropes. These are very classic. But apart from these, if it goes on any higher level of detail, if it becomes an illustration, a unique illustration by itself, then I think it is another category. So two types of placements, on the edge or with a gap, and two types of style, detailed or minimal. I prefer the minimal more because it is easier to make with assets, and if you would really like to make unique illustrated borders, you would have to end up illustrating it yourself. You would have to do it by hand. With assets, you would really need like lots of assets and lots of time to design it, and I don't see any advantage of spending all that time to a border. Again, this is a personal preference. You might think it differently. And also, like, when the border has so much detail, I see it shadowing the map sometimes. The map should be our main attention, in my opinion. There is one exception though. If the border is illustrated and used in a way that adds some information to the map, then yeah, I like those ones. But what do I mean by that? When you have illustrations of places, for example, a city illustration, or like the cities or banners, like the heraldries of your kingdoms on your border, these kind of things provide clear information about your world, about the area that is mapped. In that case, I really like those. I think they are worth the time, and it doesn't really put a shadow on the map. We have some pluses there, not only the coolness or aesthetics. So that being said, for this map and for beginners, of course, my recommendation is go with the simple ones. And in terms of placement, I don't think it matters much. Like, you can do it on the edge, you can do it with some gap. Though if you do it with some gap, considering that you're using assets, it's gonna be a bit easier. Why? Because when you are placing them on the edge, sometimes you will have situations like, let me quickly demonstrate. For example, imagine if this is the edge and you are starting to add the border, and you add one and then you add another one. Now we are going outside the map. So resizing those into it fits perfectly on the edges of our canvas, it becomes difficult. But when you can have some gaps here, what you could do is you make it and then you move the border and center it. Again, compared to aligning it perfectly on the corners, it will be easier, in my opinion. You can increase the layers and that will add more details to your border. But also, the more layer you go inside, the more you will have placement issues. Like, it will become difficult to manage the sizing of those assets and making sure that they always align when you combine them. But it is possible. And about coloring, what I can say, this also applies to the compass. When you're coloring the borders, try to use some main colors that you already have, so the border is not looking random. The style of the coloring should match. So I cannot go very shiny if there is nothing shiny on the map. or I cannot go pink if there is nothing pink on the map. For compass though, you could add maybe 1 or 2 different colors to catch some attention to it. So in terms of placing the compass, what I like to do is I like to use those wind roses that we added to the map. Why? Because you see they reveal to us the points, the meeting points that if we could use. If I had a compass right here, it would have some ratio. If this is A, this is 2A, then it would mean A to 3A. So when you have these wind roses in different parts and they unite, they create points that will have nice ratios. So check if you have those points that you could use, go with it. It will be very nice to catch some nice ratio. So in our case, I think what I would use is, yes, that point is where I want to add my compass. Is this a must? Again, no. In my opinion, it adds a nice aesthetic to the placement. I'm going to center it. If we are not gonna have the label on top of the compass, then what we could do, we can consider the compass and label as a one part together and center it. What do I mean by that? Let's say this is our font, right? If this is not on top of your compass and you have some banners or something, then what you can do is I would center these together. Let's add a banner. I'm gonna keep it here like that. Tutorial. And here I can also have different colors, different things. And yeah, I think that's it. For the compass, again, you can use matching colors. You can also make an exception to take attention to the title. For example, I can use a different color for the banner here. That will take maybe some attention to it. And maybe I can use a more interesting color here, experimenting to see how different colors work. But the thing is, don't do more than 3 colors, maybe maximum 4. Don't go with 7, for example. That in that case will not help. That will probably make it worse. Okay, I think this will get the job done. Basically, like, I'm trying to get some more attention there, but without being too obvious. And also, let's not forget about the N. Does it have to be N? It's a classic. Well, of course, it can be something else. And you can also have compasses that are rotated like this. Let's remove this one. Why? Because the map is very small and it's taking so much space for a small map. But when we extend it, maybe we can add it again. And right now, the final thing that I want to share is the map key. You can place the map key on the corners. It can be under the compass. These are the 2 most common placements, like some corner or right under the compass. For now, I'm gonna first try if I can fit it under the compass, and if it will not work, then we can do the corner. For that, I will be removing these guys, and just like the compass, let's use some alignment. We can do that by using grids. For example, let's do it right here. Yes, it could work. The map key can be framed. You can also have background for your map key. It doesn't have to, but you can do that. I'm just gonna keep it like this for now. And the final thing is to add the scale. Let's create one, and I'm centering it. Also, you can play with the styles here, just like other labels of our map. One thing about scale I can share is the scale can be a part of the map key. It can also be separated, and which I actually like more when the overall ratios allow us. I like to put the scales under the compass like this. It makes this part more complete. And now here you go. All right, so now technically we have a finished map. We have everything for a starting point. We are showing some basic settlements. We have some miscs. It looks quite nice in my opinion. So I think that's it for this first part. Thank you very much for watching all this way. Is this the best map that we are trying to make? No, we are just trying to practice. I'm just trying to give you some practical ideas, and the basic information is about mapping. The main requirements, which are making a map, like what to show, what not to show, what is needed, what adds a nicer feeling, what is more essential, the benefits of these things, etc. All these things I'm trying to give right now, trying to keep it simple. What I will do after this is I will extend this map, do the same steps, but this time instead of giving the same informations, it is gonna be more like speed runs and additional informations that will help you when you are able to make bigger maps. This is a beginner map right now. This is a starting point for us, a small island. We are gonna extend this and turn this island to a full kingdom. I hope the tutorial helps. Please let me know if this was helpful. Give me some subs, likes, support, and feedback so I can deliver better quality videos. Thank you very much for watching all this way, and keep mapping. So happy mappings.